Hello and welcome to the AllMadeUp podcast with me, Harry Stachini.
Me, Lewis Coleman.
And me, Ben Hart.
The show where each week a guest joins us in the writer's room to create a story like you and we have never heard before.
Not quite knowing what's around the corner or what we'll find along the way, as this podcast is exactly what it says on the tin.
It's all made up.
This is it. Absolutely brilliant.
You smashed it there, Ben, again.
We're in.
Every week, mate.
Episode...
The GOAT.
26, I think this one will be.
Yeah.
That's mad if you think about back to when we first started. That's yeah.
It's half a year ago. 6 months. 6 months, wasn't it? 26 weeks.
Oh, yeah, literally, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even before that, it was probably, 3 months?
Exactly 6 months.
Yeah.
Exactly 6 months, yeah.
Crazy, man.
For those that are listening, you've just heard the guest, the voice of our guest.
Shit.
No, it's absolutely fine.
All right.
Our guest this week is the brilliant Tamer Kattan.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming on. You are the first international comedian that we've had on this. No, in fact,
Oh, that's a lie.
That's just a lie.
Alison June Smith.
Yeah, Alison was here,
Yeah,
yeah.
the first American.
Yeah, there you go. That's
There you
different.
go. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Wasn't Phil Chapman born in America?
Yeah, but he's not American.
No, it was born in Middlesbrough,
Oh,
actually.
okay,
Then
right,
moved to
yeah.
America.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry to shut your chips there.
I love how many times you guys have already apologized.
Yeah, it's
This is the
incredibly
most British podcast I've ever been on.
Sorry in advance. Yeah.
But yeah, you are the first, I would say, the American guest we've ever had on the podcast.
Whereabouts in America are you from, Tom?
I grew up in LA and New York.
Oh,
but
wow.
most recently New York.
Right, okay.
Yeah, like the last 12 years or so.
I went to New York in 2020. It was the month before COVID started.
Yeah, it's a terrible time to be there.
Yeah. And
I was there.
oh, was you?
Yeah.
We went
He
to
didn't see you.
yeah.
It's not as big as you think.
You know what? That's what's mad about
Exactly.
it is because it feels like you've already been there. I felt because
Totally.
you've seen so much of it in films and on
Yeah.
TV, and you walk and you feel like I've been here. Even, you know you've not like.
Yeah, it's
but
weird.
Yeah. Have you been before?
I've never been to the States.
I did. I think it was 3 days I did, and I felt like I saw everything I needed to see in that 3 days. Did a lot of sightseeing. Well, yeah, just because we was doing everything. I mean, we went.
You were on a school trip though, weren't you?
Yeah, but working.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't
Yeah.
just at school straight. Let's make that clear.
Yeah, that's tagged along.
Yeah. What did we do? We did.
The only student that drove himself to the airport.
Anyone else want a lift?
Yeah. Empire State Building. The
Statue of Liberty?
Statue of Liberty. Yeah, Stratton Island on the ferry.
Sure.
What else did we
Did
do?
you call it Stratton Island?
What is it?
Staten.
Yes. What am I thinking? Stratton.
Mate,
You turned into a Korean woman.
Where else did I go? I went to the bank, the Federal Reserve, is it? Went
Yeah.
there, did that.
Are you short
Like,
of
imagine
money?
you just nationwide.
Yeah.
Just popped into the local branch.
We went to Times Square and stuff like that. Times Square, I nearly got stabbed in Times Square.
Did you?
Yeah, Times Square sucks.
Honestly, right? So walking past and
No
someone,
New Yorker goes there, by the way. It's
Oh, really?
produced entirely for the tourist population.
Oh mate, and
If you notice, you walk around Times Square, there's no dry cleaner, there's no supermarket, there's nothing there for the local people.
Yeah, it's just
it's
gift
all
shops.
it's all free, and that's why the people who are stabby go there.
yeah, well that was it. There was like a gang of people and they were giving out CDs.
Oh yeah,
And like we were saying to the people we were with, don't accept anything. Just walk to where we need to go next. Just walk. Anyway, we're walking along and I clock one at lads like, take one of these CDs. So I go over and he's like, money. Like, you took it. Like, where's the money? And I was like, look, he didn't mean to take it. Can you just like, can you take it back? And he's like, what, like money?
Yeah.
In American though, like
In American, like,
yeah.
scary looking.
Show me the money.
Scary looking bloke, mate.
Yeah, I
And
think
then-
it was a game show host.
And then he lifted his top up because I said, look, I was basically going, sorry, like take it back. He took it back and he just went, something I can't say.
Yeah.
Like, it was a very
Yeah.
offensive word, but he lifted up that and I thought he's got something here, like as if it was a gun, but it could have been a knife or anything. And I just shit myself and ran to restaurant, Bubba Gum Shrimp restaurant, yeah, and took refuge there. It was scary, mate.
yeah. Don't go to Times Square.
Yeah. That's if you take anything from this.
Yeah,
Don't
you
go
went
there.
to all the worst places.
Oh yeah. Well, I was only there for 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days isn't enough, man. Like the real New York, it's funny. Like one of my friends came to New York one time and we were rushing to do shows. And on the way, he grabbed my arm and stopped me. And I'm like, dude, we got to go. And he's like, is that the Empire State Building? And I go, yeah. And then I realized, oh my God, I realized what was happening. He said, look, there's normal people and then there's celebrities. He said, but there's also normal cities and celebrity cities.
Yeah.
So this city is a celebrity.
Yeah.
And I'm walking around it and I'm like, dude, we'll cancel the later show and we'll just go slower and enjoy it a little bit more. But I think the coolest parts of New York are the parts that people don't even
bother going to.
Yeah, they're not like you need more than 3 days.
Yeah, there's less people walking around with their mouth open just looking up like.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Look, it's so big.
Yeah. I would love to go to New York.
Yeah, same. I'd love to shows there.
But can I ask what, obviously you, comedy-wise, you were like LA, New York, like how different are them comedy scenes?
It was very functional. There was a guy that mentored me in comedy and he said, what kind of comic do you want to be? I said, I want to be an international comedian. And he goes, well, then you got to live in the UK once because they're going to go, oh, you're American, you're stupid. And it's going to make your comedy smarter. He said, then you got to come back to New York and they're going to think, oh, he's been in the UK. So he's not as strong on stage with like audiences and stuff.
All right. Okay. Is that the case then?
Sometimes they think like there's a repetition in New York that you don't get anywhere else. Right. That gives you where you're performing on your toes instead of on your heels. And then he goes, and then go back to LA and then they're going to go, oh, he's not polished for TV. So like every city had this influence,
That's interesting.
So it was like, for me, I wanted to like go to a city that makes you smarter, makes you more confident, and makes you polished. And it was like, those three were like my foundational cities.
What's Manchester doing for you?
Manchester's great. To me, it's the UK. And it's like, I think some of the comedy I've seen in the North is better than what I've seen in London.
Yeah.
I think London is paying too much attention to the industry and they're all starting to sound the same.
Yeah. I've spoken about this many times with comics. I think it's, and sometimes I've had people listen to this podcast be like, all you do is at the start talk about comedy, but it's interesting. But I think it's easier to gig outside, harder to gig outside of London than it is to gig, obviously, like going into London.
Yeah.
Because I think audiences are just less forgiving. And it's a lot less cosmopolitan in different parts of the country. So that idea of like, if you're going to make jokes about Uber and things like that, it's like, it's not always going to fly. So it's like, you need to have a bit more of like a universal kind of.
Yeah. And that also means more human. That's the other way you can go. Like, I think sometimes people think if you go more universal, then your comedy is going to not be as deep. But I go, yeah, but the other solution is going real deep.
Yeah.
And then it becomes human.
Yeah.
And then it's deeper than the stuff that you could say in a London or a New York or in LA. Because then you have to connect on people on a human level.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's good apprenticeship. But I would find gigging in London I'll say it now, but say it's easy. I'll go there and I'll die really hard. But I always find it not as difficult as it is gigging. But I think the audiences are actually a bit more polite. I think up here, if you're rubbish, somebody will say,
"Oh yeah, they'll let you know.
are rubbish," and I think that's good. That I should have that. Whereas I
agree. I
think
like that.
in London they'll just be quiet, and that is them saying you're rubbish, but without hurting your feelings.
Yeah.
Is it? If they're not laughing, is that them saying you're rubbish?
Hey, they just tell you, lads. That's the problem.
What I want is, Harry, for you to do Tamer's bio. So what did you have written down about Tamer?
I'm going to do it straight to camera, right? Okay, so our guest for today is the fantastic Tamer. I fucked up your fucking name.
You said it perfect. You said it right.
Tamer Kattan, international comedian, multi-award winning. You performed in New York, LA, London, Afghanistan. I read as well.
Yeah, not for like the people.
Okay,
right.
For like UN troops. I did a couple like military tours.
Wasn't doing a weekend in Baghdad.
That'd be hard.
Got a huge fan base.
Well, go for it. They're passionate.
And you've also you've written on like tons of shows. I've seen you've written for like the BBC, Sky, Netflix, Amazon.
Bit, yeah.
And that's like impressive.
Thanks, Harry. That's very nice for you to say. See, that wasn't awkward.
No?
Yeah, exactly.
I think you've done very well there, mate. Good job.
I know, thank you. Appreciate it.
It's better than usual.
You've done the guy on the mug proud.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We met like 3-4 years ago.
I was going to say, you look familiar.
Yeah, but I didn't have a beard. I didn't have like curly hair then.
Okay.
It was when like I'd been doing comedy for about, I think it was like my 8th gig, and I decided.
Was it going bad?
It went really well.
Skinhead.
No, it was like, when you like your first start, you've got that sort of cocksurety about yourself. Like,
yeah, sure.
I came because I was working in London. I thought I'll do some.
I was in London, right?
I was doing I'll do some gigs here, and it was when I think you were headlining.
Oh, really?
And I was just on the bill. But I remember when Harry says your name, I was like, oh, we've definitely gigged before.
Oh, cool.
My material hasn't changed, but still the same stuff. But
I was saying in the car, right, that me and Lewis came to Truckfest with me when you were on.
Oh, cool.
like I'd done Tramlines the week before, right? And it was near enough like the same lineup with a few alterations. Did you do Tramlines the week before?
I did, yeah.
How did you find Tramlines?
It was fine. It was great. I mean, it's such a short set, and it was like my first time in front of like UK crowds at a music festival. But they were great. And the weather was not cooperating those 2 weekends.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time because I just heard fucking rain coming off the tent, and I was like, I did it the year before and had a great time, and then that year I was just like, this is not going well. But then we went to go do Truckfest, right? And Truckfest was like a really nice gig.
It was great, yeah.
But when you were on. Me and Lewis were like stood obviously behind the stage, and you must have had like 4 rounds of applause, right?
Oh, you rocked it.
Yeah.
Oh, cheers.
And Jonathan Pye was going on closing. And I mean, I think the poor lad was having palpitations. Because it was just like how well you were doing. I was thinking, I wouldn't want to follow that.
But cheers. That's nice. But it's also silly. It's an art. It's not a sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's good to have someone do well.
Yeah.
Then you ride that wave.
But you smashed it in the bar.
Thank you. That's nice. It was fun.
How did you find actually getting to the stage? Because when we arrived to that gig at Truckfest, there was a massive. It was like in a barn, wasn't it? And it was full of people. And we arrived, and we said like, "Where's like the green room, or where do we go?" And it was like, the bar were like, "Yeah, we don't know."
Yeah, this is it behind the stage. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was like, how can you not know? Because he's on in like 10 minutes. Like, and we can't go through all these people because there's too many.
I asked the guy behind the bar. I was like, I'm one of the acts. And Lewis, you stood next to me. His reaction just went, I was like, no, genuinely. Like, I'm on the bill. And he was like, I was like, how do I get round? He was like, I don't know. And then I was like, I went, well, go and ask someone. Like, just do your job.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he was warming up. That's why he laughed.
Yeah,
He said, you want an axe?
But mate, fuck me. And then that evening, because it was so wet, I'd brought a tent and me and Lewis were going to camp. And we were like, I was like, I'm not putting a tent up in this. So we slept in my car, right? And what was so funny is, obviously, when you sleep in a car, if it's locked, the alarm would just keep going off, right? And Lewis doesn't lie still when he sleeps.
Oh, shit.
So it got to a point where the car alarm, I'd like see him wriggle, and I'd just put my fingers in my ears, waiting for it to go off. And then it was funny.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it, mate.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Do you want to come Truckfest? It'll be great. Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll be great.
comedy's brutal.
Yeah.
People don't realize like the stuff we put ourselves through. Like we walked into a room that had cows in it and smelled like cow shit.
Yeah.
And all the comics are like, this room is awesome.
Is it?
And I'm like, what? It literally smells like poop and pee.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, this is good. This is a good one.
Yeah.
So was like, Zach Gado made me put his tent up at Glastonbury. He was like, I just don't know what I'm doing. I was like, what do you mean you can't be asked is what you can't be doing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I don't like tents. It's a really weird thing.
Yeah.
I don't like camping anymore.
I'm not
Done
good to
with
sleep
it.
next to either, so I apologise to him for that. Because, I was like...
Snoring.
all weekend, because obviously I was up to like 5,
Yeah.
and then this boiling hot tent. There's all the festivals where it's been boiling, it's freezing at night, but you wake up in the morning like medium rare. Like
Oh, totally, man. It sucked. I look like a retired pro wrestler. I was just walking around holding my back like It's like, dude, we first set up our tent and the grass was thick, so I'm like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
But then throughout the day, the grass just folded and
Nature's
depressed.
mattress.
Yeah.
And then it was like I was sleeping on top of dead people, like just bones. Just like my back had so many. It was the worst sleep I've ever had in my life.
You know what's even more depressing about the Glastonbury was Emmanuel had a big bell tent
Yeah.
with like an inflatable mattress. Brett had this like apartment that he brought with him.
Yeah.
Then me and Jack were in my dad's tent and like a piece of paper sleeping on that. And they were just like these beautiful, comfy beds, and we were just looking at them like, we're not sleeping
That's
there.
brutal.
Yeah. Like, they're like, no.
Preparation.
What's that?
It's preparation.
Yeah, we didn't prepare.
Yeah, preparation's a big thing for those for like it made me realize like, oh, when I become homeless, I know what to do now.
Yeah.
And that's not the way a music festival is supposed to feel.
No.
Yeah.
Like it's supposed to feel nice.
Yeah, it's an experience.
Yeah.
Good or bad.
But instead, I'm like, this is the beginning of homelessness.
Yeah. That's comedy, isn't it?
I love the idea of every homeless person being a failed comic.
What do you mean the idea? Even the reality.
Or just bad at going to festivals.
Yeah.
There's so many funny homeless people, like with the signs.
shouting at you. Yeah.
This cup is for water. This one's for marijuana. I'm like, open micer. Come on, hack. I took the money out.
Just before we get into the actual like pod, I was just going to say, when did you actually come to the UK from America?
Oh, the very first time was probably like 8 years ago.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So I've been popping in and out. And I went to university in Sweden. So I've always, even though I'm American, I've had like more of a European influence on my writing and on my comedy and stuff. So I mean, I grew up watching The Young Ones and Monty Python, and I was exposed to like comedy, Swedish comedy, Arabic comedy. So I've always been exposed to like I've always been attracted to international comedy, even though most international comics I didn't rate as writers. Like I loved what Russell Peters did as a career, architecturally, but his writing didn't impress me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wanted to write like Patrice O'Neill, but tour like Russell.
Well, it's interesting that you talk about writing because we're gonna do a story of ourselves and write one
Great.
together. So this is going to be All Made Up with Tamer Kattan.
It's all made up again. It's all made up again. It's all made up again. It's all made up again.
And we're back. So, Tamer, welcome to the All Made Up podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you once again for coming.
You know, your mug is the most Steve Jobsy.
Yeah, and well,
You've got this. I'm holding my chin in place. thing.
He's an angular man.
yeah, I am very angular. But let me get into it, fuck's sake. Right, so,
Sorry.
Tamer, this is like a writer's room, okay?
Yeah.
This is the writer's room. You're going to be the lead writer, and we're going to build a story together.
Yeah.
Great.
Before we sort of start building the story, we build a character.
Okay.
And we're going to create a character, put a bit of flesh in it, and then we'll go through these pots, find a start sentence, end sentence, and it'll be a good laugh. Bit of
Okay.
fun.
Did you guys invent this?
Yeah.
Nice. I'm impressed.
Yeah, mate.
Well, that's a good start.
We,
It's like Warner Brothers, but that's nice.
we didn't just want, you know what I mean, a podcast where we're just talking about shite.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we thought at least the character.
We
Yeah.
make shite up.
Yeah, we just make
Do you know what's
shite.
funny? I have a friend who's autistic, and when he goes on dates, he does this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's almost identical.
Oh, maybe you could try it, Harry.
Maybe you guys are all
Take it weird.
autistic.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Don't give him a microphone. We don't want any competition.
Yeah.
Just recording his dates.
You know, because he's like, what should we talk about? Do you like animals? My favorite is the zebra.
Does it go well?
I mean, I'm still on season 2
Okay,
of the Undateable. So I think,
What I was going to
it's
say
working.
is, before we actually jump in, Harry mentioned before you've written for stuff. What sort of stuff have you been writing then? Is it always comedy? Do you do drama?
Always comedy. Like I was a copywriter first and a creative director in advertising.
Right.
And when I worked in advertising, every solution I've had was always comedy. Like it just made the most sense because it's the most disruptive form of storytelling and in a quick pace. Like if you're going to explain a drama in 30 seconds, you have to care about the person in the drama first. But you could watch a stranger fall down and you're laughing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like comedy, I always pick comedy because it was fast and disruptive and memorable, and it's my favorite form of storytelling. To me, it's like the graffiti on a wall of storytelling. Like it's
I like that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's perfect.
Isn't
Yeah.
it?
I'm gonna write that down.
it's
take
working
note.
class, it's street, it's grimy,
Yeah.
and it's hard to ignore.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
If I ever get interviewed, I'm going to say that and say that it was my line.
Quote me.
It's working
Yeah.
class. It's
If you don't
grimy,
quote
it's-
me, you'll lose your hair. That's my curse to you.
Yeah. No.
I must have
You'll
already-
become this.
I must have already quoted you a couple of times.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
mine's on its way.
Every time I see a bald person, I walk by and I go, "You son of a bitch." I know
quote
what
me.
you did.
Right,
Right,
let's
yeah.
get into it. Let's get
Yeah.
into it.
It's all made up, baby.
So, first thing we do is build a character, Tamer. So, what would you like your character's name to be?
One of my favorite people growing, I like making characters based on real people.
Okay.
And one of my favorite friends was this guy named Joey Bag of Donuts.
Nice.
We called him Joey Bag of Donuts because he always had a bag of donuts.
Okay.
Okay.
It's
He
good
was
to
a
clarify
chubby.
that for us. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he wasn't always chubby. He used to be super fit.
Right.
And then he just like, screw that. I have this really hot girl. He was a fat guy with a really hot girlfriend.
Right.
He was Joey Bag. And he was a great surfer, but had a horrible body. He's great. Joey Bag of Donuts.
Majestic while on the wave.
Dude,
So-
he looked like the letter B on a surfboard.
Okay.
Wow.
It was ridiculous.
That is.
It was
So do you want him to look like Joey Bag?
Joey Bag of
So
Donuts.
do you want to be a big guy? Do you want to be healthy?
He's like a big guy, pot belly, but extremely charming.
Okay.
and surprisingly athletic
Well, it sounds a bit like someone else here.
and bald. And he's bald.
Okay. Oh no.
Make him more like me.
Yeah. Maybe me in 20 years.
Just quickly as well. So that's his name, Joey Bag of Donuts.
Joey Bag of Donuts.
Right. And how old is Joey?
Let's say, I think he was peaking at like, I'd say 28, 29.
So he's, okay, 20. And is this set modern day?
Modern day. Yeah.
So 2023.
And whereabouts is he from?
Let's say Huntington Beach, California.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I wonder why that one. Yeah.
Joey Bag of Donuts.
Joey Bag of Donuts. Okay.
And what is he doing for a job? What does he do for money?
It's a little shady.
I like that.
Yeah.
Right. So basically there's you know how brands always want people to be like, what's your brand about?
Oh, yeah.
This surfwear brand is like, fuck that. We're just going to make a nightclub. If you want to see what our brand's about, you come to the nightclub.
Right.
Okay.
So they had a nightclub that they put on once a month, and Joey Bag of Donuts worked for this surfwear brand, but really promoted this huge nightclub.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Was that the sign?
Yeah, the sign just came
that
down.
made me jump. The
All
thought of
made
that
up.
through the floor.
Every
All
time
made
that
up.
happens, I think it's my phone and that I'm going to get shared with that.
Yeah.
I love
Right.
it. Yeah.
So what you're saying is he...
He's a nightclub promoter.
Right.
Okay.
That has merged the surfwear industry with strippers.
Okay.
And created a nightclub.
Yeah.
Where strippers and professional surfers hang out, and then everybody else goes there to.
What a place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Hollister meets Spearmint Rhino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I-
a real thing that happened in California, by the way. Strippers started performing in the city and inland, and all the construction workers were like, oh my God, these strippers are so hot. And then they moved there, and then the strippers had money. They're like, we don't want to keep seeing these guys at supermarkets. So then they moved to the beach. So there's a bunch of these strippers / some porn stars too that all kind of started migrating in this part of Southern California, and it became like, it was the blue collar beach. That's where Joey Bag of Donuts was king.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Blue collar beach.
Just quickly, sorry. In my head, right, I imagine the scene you've just described to me there as like a Vice City loading screen.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah.
You got it. You nailed
Like,
it. Yeah.
It's modern day, but it's like he's stuck in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he looks great.
Yeah.
And the night he puts on this nightclub, he makes like decent money through that.
Huge money.
And that's his dream.
Huge money.
Oh, right.
Like
Wow.
people are stunned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's created culture.
And is this money all going through the bank, or is it like
It's a little
is it
shady. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the part that's a little bit shady.
Yeah.
right.
But he's not like, there's two kinds of shady characters, right? There's Robin Hood, rebel with a cause, and there's Jesse James, rebel without a cause.
Yeah.
I think he's Robin Hood. He's rebel with a cause.
Nice.
Okay.
Wears
Yeah.
tights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Wears
wears
tights.
tights
Yeah.
on the waves.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of cash there. There's a lot of cash
Yeah.
there, isn't there? And
He takes from the rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And gives to the working class.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you got a...
Well, I was just going to say, has he got any relationships? Does he live by himself?
Yeah, he it's shocking that he's in such awful shape, but always surrounded by hot women.
Right, okay. And no lovers, just... So he's not got like a single lover. He's like quite going with the flow.
Here's what happens with him. It's sort of self-protection. When he starts to feel love, girls get afraid of his lifestyle.
Right.
And they think that he can't be a loyal guy. So then he's like, well, if I can't be that, then I'll just be this thing that you all think I am.
Yeah. Self-fulfilling
So
prophecy almost.
He's surrounded by people, but always lonely.
Okay.
Ooh, that's quite deep.
Okay.
I like that.
Go on, sorry.
Is it for his nightclub? Is there a name for it? Has he got like a distinctive?
Disco 2000.
I love that. Yeah. Isn't that a song?
Yeah, by Pulp.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Disco.
I think we've built a nice bit of flesh on this character. Is there anything else you want to ask before
Has he got any family?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so his background is Greek. So he's got this big Greek family, and then these other people that kind of look like him, like his uncle, his dad. They all look like the same guy, but they're all like, it's like the same hardware, but they've all downloaded different software.
Yeah.
So there's one guy that's like his grandfather's like super Greek, like practically could wear a toga.
Yeah.
Speaks English like Borat.
Gets his letters on a scroll.
Yeah. And then you got his dad who speaks English great, but every once in a while says words wrong. And then, and he always says, everything was invented in Greece. That kind of a Greek dad. And then there's
Spits at people
Joey
for no reason.
who speaks no Greek,
Okay.
and he doesn't know.
Okay.
He's pretty much an American.
And they live nearby or like?
They live nearby because at the end of the day, he's still a good Greek boy.
Okay.
And is it like an apartment that he's staying in? Is it like a beach house? What type of What's his establishment
pad?
like? Yeah.
I think he's got some shady dealings going on. So he lives in like the top floor of this building. It's supposed to be office retail space, but he turned it into an apartment.
Nice, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a
funny.
weird, funky place, but it's designed for huge groups of people. But
Yeah.
he's often there by himself.
I just love the idea of him having to use a lanyard to get into his own apartment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like this. It's giving me elements of like American Psycho vibes
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like a California beach version. So
Yeah.
this is interesting. I reckon
Cream suit, I think, as well. Like,
Huh?
I don't know how you see it. Like,
I think he's sort of like, even though he's a West Coast guy, I think he's not afraid to rock like Miami, more flamboyant Cuban-esque.
love that.
Okay.
Scarface.
Those Guayavera,
Yeah.
Guayavera shirts that they wear that look like they're handmade,
He's got some, like-
but they're for like a big boy.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
You know?
love that. Yeah.
So he could put his hands in his pocket, like his hands in
Yeah.
his front pockets like that.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of floral. He's not afraid to wear a rose on his shirt. You know, so he's like hyper masculine, sloppy, but loves fashion.
Yeah.
Love that.
In that outfit, have you ever seen the Baz Luhrmann Romeo and Juliet?
Yes.
Do you know the
With Leonardo DiCaprio.
yeah, what's the guy,
the guns and stuff.
Yeah, the lead bad guy in that. I can't remember his friggin' name, but that's who I've got a picture of. Like
Yeah.
little cowboy boots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's
like,
not afraid of style.
Yeah.
He's like, you are not going to ignore me.
Yeah, he's got a gun that's got like diamonds on it.
And sometimes he'll be like, you're not going to ignore me through like toxic masculinity. And sometimes he's like, you're not going to ignore me through alligator crocodile boots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, let's jump into this story part. Right, okay. So, Joey Bag of Donuts, that's our character. What we want, Tamer, is if you pick up one of these green sentences in one of these pots, and replace the blank with Joey Bag of Donuts.
Okay.
And this is going to be the start of our story, and it could go anywhere.
Joey Bag of Donuts was trying to invent a new drink.
Right, okay, so that's where our story starts.
Fits in.
Yeah.
And we're going to find out where our story ends. So if you pick up one of the red ones as well, Tamer, this is where we're going to be getting to in the end.
They buried the truth and all evidence in a field.
Okay.
I mean, this really fits in with the storyline so far.
Yeah.
Right, so Joey Bag of Donuts is inventing a drink. That's the gist. So what type of drink would Joey Bag of Donuts go for, do you think?
Okay, well, Joey Bag of Donuts is he's no fool, right? So he's in the he fancies himself like a jack of all trades, and he thinks that's a good thing, not a bad thing. So he knows the fashion industry, and he knows that a long time ago, Onitsuka Tiger, the Japanese footwear shoe,
Right, okay.
there was 1 year where Japanese athletes did really well in track. And it was the anniversary of Onitsuka Tiger, and they had this line where it didn't say made in Japan, it said made of Japan. And so they had this guy, they took this guy who was a track star, they put headphones on his ears, and they made him listen to the crowd cheering for him when he won his gold medal, so he can hear them cheering. And then they made him blow into a hose, and the air went into a can, and then they sealed the can, and they called it Hero's Breath.
Wow.
And when you bought the shoe, that can of Hero's Breath came with the shoe.
That is insane.
Right? Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So Joey Bag of Donuts is like, yeah, I want to do that. I want to do something like that.
Right.
And I think maybe that's where the drink might come into play.
So
Yeah.
Okay.
is it like maybe something like with the Greek gods, maybe like the power of like Zeus or something
Yeah,
like
it might
that?
be the
or-
sweat of Hercules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I was trying to think along the lines of, because he's obviously a surfer as well, you said.
Yeah.
So is there an element of like, has he competed at like some level?
Super high level. He was
Right.
at one point pro.
Right.
Like he's a fat, out of shape guy, but he could probably still do the splits.
Right.
You know, like he's he's a phenomenal athlete.
Honestly, I relate so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because and like,
You know, pull a muscle, patting yourself on the back.
this,
No joking at that.
this is going to sound like a stupid question, right? This is going to sound very stupid. But is the California Sea as salty as like the Spanish Sea? You know, like when you go in the Spanish Sea and it's
No,
like
it's less salty.
It's less salty.
Less salty,
Because I'm
yeah.
thinking, is there?
Pacific, isn't it?
Well, here's the other thing. There's Huntington Beach and there's Newport Beach. Newport Beach has these jetties every like 100 yards. So when the riptides come in, the jetty breaks it up.
Right.
Huntington Beach, there's no jetties. So when you paddle out there, it's you and the ocean. And all the surfers at Huntington Beach are a little bit rougher looking because they get beat up harder in Huntington Beach than they do in Newport Beach.
Right.
So they're a little bit bigger. They're a little bit more salty. They're a little bit more aggressive when they surf. Like when you're a new person in a lineup, you kind of have to be patient about catching a wave. You don't want to cut anybody off.
Yeah.
If someone catches the wave to your left, you have to pull out.
Yeah.
And in Huntington Beach, I've seen fist fights break out from people, cutting someone off on a wave who was further down the line.
Because I do like the idea of the drink tasting a bit like salty from the ocean. That's like its signature, like salty dog, or like I'm trying to think of the name of the drink.
Well, it could be like a tequila maybe.
Well, I was going to say, is it an alcoholic beverage?
I think it is alcoholic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be like maybe. What's a Greek spirit? Is it?
Ouzo.
Ouzo. Do you have salt with that? I don't know if it's.
No. You do put a cucumber inside though sometimes and water. Yeah.
My thing here is, right, if he's making a drink, which is all well and good, the idea is he wants to mass produce this drink. He's going to turn it into a business, yeah? So what if the idea is he's going to create this drink and then put it into all the strip clubs in Miami? We're in California. Put it into all the strip clubs there, and that's going to be his kind of like launch pad for it going global.
Yeah,
right?
that's it. It's like exclusivity.
Yeah.
So like,
Maybe he's decided, he's like, what I love about strip bars is I love the names of strip bars. They all seem like they would lend themselves to drinks. Like there's the Spearmint Rhino.
Yeah.
And there's all these names for, or Bada Bings. Like there's all these strip bar names could easily be cocktail names. And maybe that's what he's done is he's taken a strip bar and turned it into a drink.
Yeah, he wants to call it like Booty Sweat or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Booty Sweat's off Tropic Thunder. That's trademark. We can't use that.
Right.
So what do we think this name of the drink will be? Let's come up with a name for it.
Tequila tits.
Tequila tits.
Well, what do we want the drink to do? What should we say?
I think the drink is like, whatever it is, it's a good time. Like, you know what I mean? It's got a nice feel to it.
You know what I feel like about Joey? I feel like he's the Ron Jeremy of life. He's like who's that guy? Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
He's like Andrew Tate, but he looks like the regular man.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
he's a more approachable Andrew Tate.
Right. So
there might be something about like where this drink is almost like a way to celebrate masculinity and just being yourself. It's almost like femininity and masculinity coming together.
Right.
Like accept yourself for the body that you have. Don't listen to Andrew Tate. Look at me. Yeah, I got a big pot belly, but look at these two hot strippers that are sitting on my lap, and they don't need to. They don't need to be sitting on my lap.
So he's selling a lifestyle. He's selling like with like different types of advertising, they don't sell a product, they sell like a lifestyle. If you drink this, you're going to be like
That's
me.
right.
So like
That's right.
Maybe it's like a really fruity thing then. That's like unapologetically fruity. Maybe something like that. That could be the catch. Like the line
that's the tagline for the product.
Yeah.
But what is the product's name? We need to get that before we move on.
What if it's because Joey's so unapologetic? What if it's a blowjob? Because that we just walk to the bar and go, "Give me a blowjob,"
Okay.
Right.
and you have to make eye contact when you say it.
Yeah,
Right.
I like that.
You have to make eye contact with another man and go, "Give me a blowjob." That's how masculine I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can look at another man and go, "There's no way he doesn't think I'm not talking about a drink."
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I love that. Yeah. That's a commercial, yeah.
Yeah, it's the drink, and then he's proud of it because it's the
Yeah.
drink that causes more fistfights than any other drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Give me a blowjob.
Gimme. Not give
sorry,
me.
yeah,
give me.
yeah. Gimme a
Give me
blowjob.
some
Yeah.
loving, that
Yeah.
sort of like spelling of it.
Give me a
like-
blowjob.
Unapologetically fruity.
Yeah.
Unapologetically fruity.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Right. Okay. So we got that sorted. And he's making this drink, right? Is he making it like secretively? Is it in like a basement, or is it like he's manufacturing it? It's
Can I toss in my 2 cents? So I think if we think about drinks at the moment, obviously Prime is took the world by storm, hasn't it? And that's a branding thing more than it is an actual sports drink, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think that someone's seen his lifestyle, and like a second party's come in, like a business person or like someone who's been like, I can monetize this guy. I can create. Let's give you a drink, and you're going to be the face of it. So I reckon we introduce a second character who's approaching him. I don't know who that is at the moment.
what if we use a real person, right? And that person is Jake Paul.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's. I think that would make it difficult. I think having someone who we don't know and putting a bit of layers on someone we don't know again. Right. Who could it be? Is it someone?
I think somebody more authentic.
Yeah.
I think Joey would kill Jake Paul.
Oh, do you reckon? Right.
I think he'd stab him.
Okay.
Like somebody that's like authentic and real.
I think there's a celebrity that's made a lot of money and they want to invest their money. I think.
What about like a Tyson Fury?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, okay. Because Tyson Fury has just brought out a drink. It's called
I think, yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you're saying.
What's the drink he's brought out? He's brought a drink out basically, and
It's a good match though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Tyson Fury, because he's like unapologetically
Exactly.
like, this is what
He's
a real
got a
man
bad
looks
body,
like.
and he's incredibly athletic.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a good match.
are you happy with that?
Yeah, go with that. Tyson Fury.
So Tyson Fury's approached him and said, look, I've got a drinks brand. I reckon you bring one out and it's going to be exclusively for strip clubs.
Yeah.
Have we said that? It's exclusively for strip clubs. Is that right?
Yeah.
Or is it going to be open to public consumption?
Well, it's open to public consumption, but they sell it at strip bars the way golfers sell golf clubs. Like, this is the club that Tiger Woods chooses, but you can use it on your 9-hole putt-putt. And then they go, this is what we drink when we go to Bada Bing's in New Jersey with the mafia. But you can have it when you're playing bingo in Chortle. Chorlton.
Chortle,
The website.
Are we happy?
Yeah, Chortle's the website. I keep mixing it up.
You can read it at the same time.
We've got that. I think we get a prompt in there.
Yeah, okay. So if you look in the yellow pot, Tamer, this is just going to throw the story in a bit of a different direction, and we've got to try and incorporate it in.
They didn't realize the meat pie was cursed.
Right.
Okay.
So they didn't realise the meat pie was cursed. So I'm thinking, obviously, Tyson Fury and Joey Bag of Donuts, let's say they've launched this drink. Shall we say they launched this drink?
Yeah, it's been at the strip club, I think, that year.
I think they've launched it at his club night. Right?
Yeah.
Disco 2000, right?
Yeah.
And there's been like t-shirt cannons and stuff like
Launch
that.
party. I think we're at the launch party.
All right.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's launch party, like you said, t-shirt cannons.
Yeah.
Loads of celebrities, like, but the people like I think like people like Adam Sandler are there. You know, like cool celebrities, sort of like that.
Yeah.
That don't take themselves too seriously. The whole thing's really well organized. It's like. I
like the idea of him like flipping it all upside down and just going, these drinks tell you what their benefits are. This drink, we're just going to tell you what's bad about it.
Right, okay.
Here's what sucks about a blowjob. Yeah. It's extremely high in sugar. This is not good for you. It's going to give you bad breath.
Yeah.
It's going to do this. It's going to do that. But are you man enough?
Yeah. It will lower your sperm count.
Can you take it? Like, there's that saying they talk about online. Nobody knows the amount of violence it took for me to be this gentle.
Yeah.
Right. And this is like, nobody knows like the amount of machismo I have to act this gay.
Yeah.
Like, that's how straight I am.
Yeah.
I'll kiss another man.
Yeah.
On the mouth. I'll kiss his dick.
No one's asking you to. So
Okay.
No one's asking you.
No one's asking you to. Just me.
Just fuck everybody up. Like, people are like, is he gay? Is he straight? I don't know. Is he going to beat me up? Do I want to kiss him? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, look at me. I can still get all these women and have this high sugar and do all this and have bad breath.
Yeah.
Like,
This can, once you drink it, will definitely give you diabetes. Like,
Exactly.
You will lose toes drinking this. Right?
Yeah.
And there'll be like, maybe
gain women.
the logo could be like a guy with a boner, but the boner's in the shape of a question mark.
Yeah.
Like, what do I do with this?
I just love the sort of like marketing ploy of "Are you man enough?" And it's like giving so many bad things in this drink, and it's like, "But are you man enough?" But
how tough are your teeth?
And you know that there'll be people out there going, "I'm fucking man enough." Give me that fucking dad.
Yeah, exactly.
That's if that's soft.
Exactly.
You got Tyson Fury's dad in the crowd.
John Fury's just beating up people.
Don't you tell me I can't drink that drink.
Yeah, every ad should be an insult. It should be like, let's see if you got pussy teeth, don't drink this.
Right,
You got soft, sensitive. Are your teeth sensitive? Are your teeth offended by words that I use? You got liberal teeth.
I think this drink is so like good for online marketing. Memeing, TikTok, like getting into that proper.
It sounds like an incel movement, doesn't it? It's like
but that's like them are the people who are going to buy it, but not the people who it is about. They're the people who want to be like Joey Bag of Donuts, but never will be. You know what I mean? It sort of brings that out in people.
It's like when I buy a full United kit. That's ambitious, Ben.
So now, let's say we're at the launch party. Catering wise, they've gone for, I don't know, what are they going for catering?
I think unapologetically, unhealthy stuff. So like pies, chips.
Well, I think Tyson Fury's from Morecambe, isn't he?
Yeah.
And the party is going on in California at the strip bar. What's it called? Disco 2000.
Disco 2000.
So I think Tyson Fury said, I'm not eating anything out over there. I'm going to bring the catering with me. And he's flew over Green Elches, Greg's, Pound Bakery, all the British sort of pies.
Yeah.
I imagine he's not flown it over. He has, but he's on a Chinook helicopter.
Nice.
They've had chip vans. lowered in right to the beach in California.
Yeah.
And like the staff have been in them through the entire flight.
Oh,
Right.
mate, I love the idea of like an armada
Yeah,
of
yeah.
helicopters traveling
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
500 helicopters, all like, you know, like when you're on Call of Duty and you get a fucking box dropped in.
Yeah.
What was it called when they with all the weapons and stuff, like a deploy box or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, they've dropped all these boxes, like you said, the staff are in
Yeah.
them. Delivering. Are the pasties and pies still in the wrapping? Are they warm?
No, I think they're in them things that keep them out of the back.
Oh yeah,
You know, the little small
hot
ovens.
trays.
You know, the,
Yeah. It's,
I think you could start a movement where women are complaining that men aren't honest, and now there's going to be this generation of men who are like super honest about their flaws.
yeah, yeah.
Like all the dating profiles are like, yeah, I'm really defensive because my dad used to beat me.
right.
You know, like if you tell me I did something wrong, I feel like you're gonna leave me, so I just break up with you first.
Yeah.
Like just like really honest men and women are like, this is too much.
Like Tinder profile, just ignoring age, ignoring height. It's just that, like straight away.
This picture was from 2018. It's not accurate.
yeah.
It's just like clear about it. It's not accurate. I don't care.
I do not look like this.
This picture of Will Smith. Or something. This is not me.
I like that. Right, but what we've got to get into this is one of the steak pies is cursed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well-
who is eating the steak pie, which is cursed?
Well, Tyson Fury is of the traveller background, isn't
Yeah,
he? So there's a
that's
lot
right.
of tradition and stuff and curses in the sort of traveller
Yeah.
traditions.
Nice.
So maybe there's maybe there's a rival of Tyson that doesn't want him to do well, and it's inadvertently affected.
Right, okay. Or we add another layer, and maybe so Tyson, when Tyson's actually looked at the contract, like as he's been flying over on the helicopter,
He's done all this before he's looked at the
yeah,
contract.
he's just coming over the contract again.
Yeah.
And he sort of noticed that Joey Bag of Donuts is maybe getting 70% split.
Yeah.
Like something's just been overlooked.
Yeah.
But is that in Joey Bag of Donuts' nature to sort of do that?
Well, that's what I was thinking. I
Yeah.
was putting it down the route of he's actually cutting him out.
Joey Bag of Donuts
yeah.
who's cutting who out?
Joey Bag of Donuts is cutting out Tyson Fury.
So that's his
Joey's
flaw.
head is getting too big for his
Yeah.
own.
He's getting too big for his massive body.
There could also be a loss in translation. You know?
Yeah.
Like I remember one time I was at a supermarket and one of my Australian friends went up to this lady in America, goes, "Excuse me, where's the mints?" And then she took us to the candy aisle, and it was like breath mints.
Yeah.
So maybe it could be like where Tyson goes, "Hey, we're gonna have this manly man pie eating contest, and I need you to make mince pies." And maybe Joey makes pies with breath mints inside.
Right.
So stupid.
That is
Right.
yeah.
Right, mince meat.
Yeah.
I that went
Jesus
straight
Christ.
over my head.
Yeah.
But it's got one of them's got to be cursed, hasn't it? Anyway.
Yeah.
Cursed.
I like the angle of
The gypsy.
of the sort of like contract not looking right, and there's this pie which has been cursed, which obviously is the flaw of Joey Bag of Donuts. This is going to be his downfall almost. Like he eats this pie, and he's cursed. What could this curse be? What happens? Does he start getting in shape?
Yeah,
Does he-
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Like it starts making him ripped, this pie, and it's like, whoa, I thought you're a phony. Like you've got yourself in shape. You know,
Yeah.
what are you thinking?
Yeah, no, I was going to say that. It's the idea of like it's the type of pie that the more you eat, the better the better shape you're getting. So
I
like
like it.
he has one, he has another, and he's like this is a matter of like weeks. It turns into months. The drink thing's going great, but obviously 6 months down the line, he looks like he could be on the front of like Men's Health.
Yeah.
But he
They
is the
start
face of
calling-
the drink, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
And it isn't working because
But also he doesn't know. Like he loves the taste of these pies, but he doesn't know that the pies are actually getting him in better shape.
Yeah.
because he's thinking, no, these
These are pies.
Yeah, these are pies.
Yeah.
He's not even like
Yeah.
made the link yet. He's not
Yeah.
made the link. He's just eating these, thinking, fuck, I need to get back in bad shape. But
Yeah, yeah.
everyone he eats is making him
Yeah.
even better.
Just watching more veins pop out of his arm.
Maybe he's like in a locker room and there's a locker between him and these two young kids talking. And they're like, Joey Bag of Donuts, more like Joey Bag of Salad.
yeah, yeah.
And then he's
Oh,
like, and then he
yeah.
starts to get like really sad that they think he's in good shape. Like it's like it's an upside down world,
He's,
you know?
he's
where he's
crying
like,
in the
Yeah.
shower
No.
on his own.
That is so funny. The
you
idea
don't
of-
see what I eat late at night when I'm alone. I binge eat. I love brownies. And they're like, yeah, whatever. Kale face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are
Fraud.
those your fingers or carrots?
Yeah. Yeah. Your eyes aren't yellow.
But like, because of that sort of culture online, that toxic
trolling.
trolling
Yeah.
culture,
Yeah.
like he's become like the absolute antithesis of what he was before.
Yeah.
And so he's getting a big pile on online.
Yeah,
He's got his
and they're
own-
using words that would normally be compliments to be insults.
Yeah.
Like, oh, nice six pack, dork. What are you, a bunch of beers?
Yeah.
Six pack.
Yeah, go with some broccoli.
This is a 1 pack, loser.
Yeah.
Try a keg.
I like that.
Yeah, I love
That
that.
is so good. Yeah, the fact that everyone's out of shape saying, "Oh, you fucking,"
And they're all making
Yeah.
fun of him.
Yeah.
Right. I reckon we get another prompt in.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I feel we've dealt with that brilliantly.
Also, just to like give it a bit of an arc, I think he needs to he needs to find a way of getting back to there. I think just to give it a bit of a
Yeah. So at the moment, we're catching him in his dip.
yeah.
And then we'll try and raise him back
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, because
maybe.
he somehow needs to find out that the pies are causing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, Tamer, if you get another one of them prompts for us, the yellow ones.
Yellow?
Yeah, and we'll see where this one takes us.
The door opened to the unmistakable stench of ejaculate.
Ooh. I like that.
That's it's so fun.
Yeah.
That is funny, though.
Somebody's been eating asparagus.
What I've got an idea, right? Okay,
Right.
I like that. Okay, let's say this.
Yeah.
Nothing like the smell of fresh ejaculator in the morning, boys.
I can't wait for it. Clip that.
Yeah.
Tamer saying it, and then you just go in. I like that.
I've got an idea that
End of clip.
he's been trolled really hard, right?
Yeah.
And
Really hard, yeah.
yeah,
Ejaculate hard.
yeah, it's really bad. And I think that there's like it's gone that far. Do you know? Like, it's Just Stop Oil people, right? Like it's like Just Stop Joey, and these trolls.
Just stop Joey.
Yeah. These trolls have gone to his house, broken into his house, and just ghostbusted his bedroom, right? Like completely, and he's not been in there, and then he's come back.
They've got his bedroom and wanked on his bedroom.
Yeah, well, yeah, because that's the only logical response I've got.
That's the only
Right,
logical
right.
response you can think of.
So you're saying that people have gone into his bedroom
Yeah.
and done what?
Wanked on
About
his
1,000 people. I've covered it top to ceiling in jizz.
Right. This is what I'm thinking.
Also, it's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah,
That was the only thing I can think of. That 1,000 men went into a bedroom and wanked all over it.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
I'm thinking. This is my offering. So obviously, let's keep following him on this dip at the moment. So it's still on the way down at this point.
Yeah.
I think what's so ironic is that now he must be he's in incredible shape.
Yeah.
He's like
Arnold Schwarzenegger sort of looking.
fighting way.
Yeah.
but it's got to the point where like Men's Health magazine won't have him on as like oh my god, you're in incredible shape, come and like be in our magazine and feature. They're more like, oh my god, you're a phony. You know what I mean? It's still that sort of you're not who you said you was.
Yeah, girls like loser.
Yeah. So on a national scale, international scale, he's now hated. So he's spending a lot of time at home. I think that he's on the top floor of his flat, like we said, of his apartment building, and he is the only person he can make love to is himself at this point.
Yeah, well, maybe you say his family are quite supportive. Maybe his family come round and they open the door, and the only thing they can smell is
Yeah.
ejaculate. Like it's like an intervention, almost like an intervention for him.
What are you thinking, Tamer? How would you deal with that?
I think I like that. I think the idea of his arc being that even though he had a horrible body, that body was his identity.
Yeah.
And so when that changed, it sent him into this like spin out, where he's always been able to handle all of his flaws, but now he's like lost and floating in space. And maybe the reason why the guys ejaculate on his bed, because they're like, oh, he likes himself just the way he is.
Right.
And then they all come because that's what they all really wanted too. They all really want to love themselves. And that's the reason why they make fun of other people, is because they don't love themselves. So they were like jerking off at the idea of loving themselves as much as Joey Bag of Donuts loves himself, and maybe secretly wanting him to not love himself. And that's why they made his room stink with their jizz.
So trolls broke into his room.
So we're going with
Yeah,
the
So my idea was the one we went with. Thank you very much.
It's like a gangbanger writing graffiti on your
Oh,
wall.
sorry, that we didn't think that would have been a better alternative to that.
Yeah, you've put more layers to it, but it makes perfect sense.
1,000 men, there's enough layers there.
Yeah,
Mate.
I
Well,
imagine.
It's like a meal feel.
Yeah.
What I
There's
like-
several layers of pastry.
Can I just quickly say, I imagine his apartment. Do you know in Bruce Almighty? Do you know when he goes to the office building, it's just white?
Yes.
That's what I imagine his apartment
That's
looks
it,
like,
yeah.
right? And it's just one bed in the corner
Yeah.
that is dripping in jizz.
Minimalist.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's not at this point.
What I like is that we're saying that it's 1,000 men,
Yeah.
1,000 trolls.
Yeah.
Imagine the scene. It's like he's on the top floor of this building.
Yeah.
What is everybody thinking at this point? Who's living in there? If they're seeing 1,000 men charge into this room,
Looking more relaxed. Looking more relaxed on the way out.
have they made a queue? Have they got a queuing system, or have they all just gone in at once? Or
I think it's probably
10 at a time.
10 at a time.
I think they win in. I think they win in fast and aggressive.
yeah. It's like 1,000-man SWAT team.
Yeah, it's like a flash mob, but instead of dancing, they come.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I reckon you're building it up as you're in the lift,
Yeah.
and then as
Yeah.
you get through the door,
They call it
What's
edging.
happened to you?
Yeah.
yeah, as you get through the door, it's just the next person,
You're filth.
Yeah.
and it's
When have they coordinated this? Like when have they
did-
got like a Reddit or something?
Yeah,
like
Reddit,
that?
yeah,
100%
it's a
Reddit,
4chan page. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've all got together, lifted up the monster t-shirts and come to town.
No,
Yeah.
the blowjob t-shirts.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. Right, so he needs to. So we need to find a way. So what was the last line?
They buried the truth and all evidence in a field.
Right. So we I think we need to break this curse, don't we? Anyway, we need to find. He needs to know his curse to begin with.
Right. Okay. Here we go.
Yeah.
Right. So, I was just thinking the steak pie. He's been eating the steak pies, and then he leaves one at the side of his bed and doesn't finish it.
Yeah.
And he's like in that much of like a depressive sort of state. Obviously, it starts rotting, but it rots in a weird way, I think. And it's like there's something weird about these steak pies, and that's what. Whoa.
Yeah.
What's happening? And that's how he figures out. And it's the steak pies, which are. What do you reckon? I'm just throwing it out there.
I was going a lot darker than that.
Okay.
I imagine that he is the evidence, right? And he buries himself in the garden. So it's like you've what we've seen is this. Like I know we've caught him on the way down, and we're trying to get him on the way back up. But I imagine it is more like a film with a very unhappy ending.
Right. Okay. Which is ironic.
Yeah,
Because there's been a lot of happy endings so far.
yeah. That's what I think. I think it's like this. He if he had fully kind of stayed true to who he was,
Yeah.
he wouldn't have ended up in this kind of like demise.
That's exactly right. The RuPaul's most famous saying is, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else?
Yeah.
So I think it's cool that a drag queen would be the symbol that inspired him.
Right.
Yeah.
To be like, hey, the reason, even at your biggest success, and you had the chubby body that you loved, you still couldn't find one love. And the reason isn't because of all of them, or all because of all the popularity, or because people were backstabbers. It's because you didn't love yourself, regardless of your body. And now you have to learn to love yourself with your perfect body.
So he meets it with. So RuPaul has an
Look at
intervention.
his six pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So RuPaul has an intervention with him then, maybe.
RuPaul comes and says, "Listen, you can't be a great drag queen without being a king."
And so maybe we could act that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
do you want to?
Do you want to be?
I don't know. I don't watch RuPaul's Drag Race, so you do.
Who do you want to be? RuPaul, or do you want to be Joey Bag of Donuts?
I could do Joey probably better.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
Okay, so
you be RuPaul.
maybe they're like old friends, and like
sure.
RuPaul's performed at the club a couple of
Yeah,
times.
I like
Sure,
that.
They're sort of old friends.
Exactly.
Joey, I don't know why I've got this accent, but what's happened to you? You look great.
Ru, I'm so sorry you saw me like this. I don't know what's been happening. Every time I wake up, I have another line in my stomach.
Well,
Now, those little gutters that girls like so much that go down on your stomach and
Yeah.
then they come towards your wiener.
yeah.
I've got one of those.
What
I can't even, I don't even do sit-ups.
you've been working out? No, you've.
I've just been eating while sad, and it's
What's
been
it?
getting me in better shape.
And what have you been eating?
Just these meat pies.
And and it's all been the same since you started eating these meat pies.
Yeah. I thought, I do intermittent fasting, and so I just crave one thing. And it's these meat pies.
Meat pies from
Yeah.
from the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I love them.
okay.
Yeah. It's where we came from originally. We came from England before we got to America.
I know about the Mayflower. So yeah, I know all about that. But so, do you not think there's maybe something to do with these meat pies then?
I don't know about that.
Do you not think maybe you should give it a try?
What do you suggest I do?
Maybe eat something else for once.
Eat something else.
It's been 2 years.
I don't know, Rue. Why don't you wear something else
Listen,
instead of a dress? How about that?
that isn't like you, Joey. You've changed.
Don't take away my meat pie.
Yeah, I reckon it's very like
He's addicted.
yeah.
This is it. Maybe
Like-
this
it's
is
like
like an
your opioids.
intervention where you guys all corner him in a hotel.
Might as well as face it, you're addicted
to
to
love.
pie.
So maybe
Yeah.
Rue locks him in this
No,
room.
I think Rue's like, there's nothing saving this guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think there's a like.
It's a
Harry
lost
said,
cause.
If you're not gonna love yourself, what is
Yeah.
it?
How in the hell are you gonna love
How
somebody
are you
else?
gonna love somebody else?
And he's like, listen, Rue, I'm just really worried. I don't know how far down this hole goes. I mean, I'm worried that I'm gonna walk into a supermarket tomorrow and see my body on a box of Wheaties. And I don't want that to happen.
No.
No,
Yeah. Right.
I don't
so
want women to love me just for my body.
No, I've had enough of you. Yeah. There's no helping you, Joe Bag of Donuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think she walks out the apartment,
Very sassily.
over puddles of cum, like ugh.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
and then gets the lift, shoots away, and
Quick.
yeah,
Where does it say where he buried the truth on the thing?
in the garden, right?
I think one other visual could be like her shoes got drenched in the semen.
Right,
So she's
yeah.
like, do you have something else I can wear? And then he gives her these swim fins,
Right, yeah.
which she thinks are going to be helpful because they're water resistant, but then they end up splashing
Oh.
yeah. I like that. Yeah,
until she figures out, oh, I have to walk out of the apartment backwards.
yeah.
That way I won't splash.
So, the last.
The one in red,
Yeah.
they buried the truth and all evidence in a field.
So
Okay.
maybe he brings Tyson and goes, what is to do is. I don't know. I think there might needs to be a bit of a.
What do you think, Tamer?
I think maybe RuPaul sparked, the initial thought if there's something wrong with these meat pies.
Yeah.
Joey confronts Tyson Fury. Tyson
is a brave thing to
which is a brave thing to do. Tyson shares the family recipe and realizes some of the ingredients is black magic, like gypsy magic.
Right.
Right.
And this is like a secret recipe that Tyson didn't realize he used because Tyson's bipolar. So
Yeah.
he's up, he's down, and when he was down, he took this from his gypsy grandmother without asking.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So it was in the wrong hands.
Right.
Right,
Okay.
So he knows, but he's addicted to them. So he needs. I would say, is he? Because he wants to get his life back, doesn't he?
He's tired of having a phenomenal body.
Yeah.
Go on. What are you thinking? I'm just thinking. Go on.
I think it's a sad ending. I don't think he gets back to where he was.
Well, maybe there could be a sad ending because the last thing that Tyson wants is this guy coming telling the truth. Because I think Tyson's probably doing really well. Well, Joe Bag of Donuts.
Right. What's that? Finish your thought. Finish your thought.
Yeah, I think RuPaul leaves, right? Okay, and that is kind of the final straw for Joey, and he's got no one, like lost his friend. He's not got the body he wants, and what he set out to achieve has worked, but it's like careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now he's at the point where it's like, I can't carry on like this. So I think he takes himself off, right?
Into a field.
Into a field, yeah, and with his unbelievable physique, right? Digs a hole in minutes.
With his bare hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, and then before he jumps in the hole, he's like, I'm not even breathing hard.
Yeah.
I hate this.
I imagine that he buries the evidence, which is him, right? So I think he puts himself in the in the hole, right?
And then
I then think 1,000 guys show up and just fill the hole with semen.
No, we can't have that. No, we can't have that.
That's the most testosterone filled way to die.
Yeah.
What if he gets so muscular and so fit that he just goes like tenses and explodes?
Right.
Yeah, similar
Okay.
to your end, exploded.
Well,
He just ruptures as a person.
my suggestion is, so we were saying that Tyson Fury is the one who's got this recipe, and Joey Bag of Donuts is now is in incredible shape, as we know. Gone and confronted Tyson, or he said, look, Tyson, I'm coming over, we need to have a chat. Tyson has buried the truth in the field, which is the recipe for the steak pie.
Yeah.
So it isn't actually Joey which is burying the truth, it's Tyson Fury.
Tyson, yeah. Because then he doesn't want people to know that it's those meat pies that have been the secret behind Tyson Fury's success too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good shout.
Yeah.
So we're not going with the whole covered in jizz. No. Just to double check. All right.
Oh, yeah, the bed covered in jizz.
Yeah, I like that.
You okay with that end?
Yeah, I think that's a great ending.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it leaves it on like a cliffhanger almost. What's going to happen?
Yeah, what's next?
Yeah, there's a sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we happy? I'm happy.
Yeah.
Right, well, let's...
And maybe the to be continued on a cliffhanger is the edge of a cliff and a little bit of jizz
Yeah,
hanging off the cliff.
yeah.
I like it. I like it being... I like that shot of it being like establishing shot of cliff
Yeah.
and then close up of cliff edge
Yeah.
with the droplet. I just think that'd be a nice image
Yeah.
to leave
And
the
then like a
viewer
really English thing, like to be continued.
Yeah.
So you guys love wordplay.
Yeah.
with. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well,
Nice,
Hey.
Tamer. Nice.
how did you find that? Enjoy it?
Yeah, it was good. I think there's something to this notion of like flipping the world upside down and having a good body be a bad thing and a bad body be a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the visuals, mate, were amazing. weren't they?
That was probably one of the most wackiest ones we've had in a while.
I'm a
I would
wacky
say.
person.
Yeah, that was insane.
There's a lot more jizz in it than I thought there was going to be.
Yeah.
I think it feels like you said, Sam, the sort of getting sort of online abuse for being in good shape, but trying to present a message of being yourself.
Yeah.
Like it's very short filmy. You know what I mean? It feels like you would watch
Yeah.
something like as a message. Like
Yeah.
I do like that flip
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
like
Totally.
It's I imagine Joey Donuts in his car, like you know you see these people doing like inspirational kind of messages, like
Yeah.
if you got the right mindset, but they're also like sat in a fucking I don't know, like Bugatti or something like that, and you're a bit like, yeah, it doesn't really work that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's not like you don't come across relatable, you know,
Yeah.
because you've got like a sky roof, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I
Oh,
imagine like
100%.
his like social media presence is like, you know, you can do this, like,
But like coming from like that sort of body where it isn't in great shape and your fall from grace is getting in good shape.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's so good.
There's always a counterpunch like that
Yeah.
in society. Like right now, I feel like society right now is probably the way porn was before Ron Jeremy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Everybody was perfect. Everybody had a perfect body. Everybody was hyper macho or hyper feminine. In comes Ron Jeremy, and everybody's like, we love this guy.
Yeah.
We love this guy because he's real. And that's what we want. We are perfectly imperfect. And that's why people like vinyl better than CDs, because the hiss, the imperfection was still there. I like the idea of this guy being like, you know, in Japan, they say when you break a bowl and you put it back together, you don't hide the crack, you paint it with gold. And it goes, the area where it broke is now where it's strongest. And so they highlight the breaks. And it's like, so Joey becomes like this person who's like, yeah, I'm not going to shy away from my flaws. And that's why my dating profiles are all the reasons why women wouldn't want to be with me.
Right. Okay.
And then, but it magically ends up becoming the point of attraction to him.
As a overall kind of feel for this episode, right? Like heavily on the jizz, right? But also like some really nice tones to it as well.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's sort of like that really tainted
Yeah,
the actual story,
Yeah.
didn't it?
Yeah.
Um,
I shouldn't have
And you
suggested
led the
it.
jizz, mate, to be honest.
Well, it came out,
was
didn't it? And then I just was like, right, I think that's a funny image. But
It is-
yeah,
it was a funny
the fact
image.
you've just explained painting the crack and being like, that's the strongest part now. That honestly, that's powerful.
yeah, the power of that, what Tamer's just said, in comparison to what you've
And I'm
been
like,
coming
he's
out
going to
with.
dig a hole and then drown himself in cum. That's the plan.
10 at a time.
It's
The levels
know.
of this has just been unbelievable.
Maybe when he's in the jizz, he's like, oh my God, that's the flavor in the meat pie.
Yeah.
That's the secret ingredient. It's been gypsy cum in this pie this whole time. And that's Tyson eats his own dad's cum. and then Tyson's like, I don't want anybody to know about this. Because look how much energy John Fury has. He's a madman. So then he's like, I'm burying this before people realize I've been eating my dad's cum all these years.
yeah.
So there's breastfeeding, but nobody's ever known about dick feeding. It's a real thing.
yeah, I was dick fed.
I want to see.
I was dick fed.
I was dick fed as a child.
I was dick fed, yeah.
Yeah, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah,
Is it-
Yeah, stopped being dick fed when I was about 4 or 5.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad was upset about people like, you can't do that outside. And he's like, hey, it's natural.
yeah.
Okay, it's natural. I'm going to do this while we're eating lunch. He's hungry.
Yeah, someone needs a
Ew,
feed.
you're making other people uncomfortable. Yeah.
That is funny.
You know, in Norway, you
Yeah.
could feed your kid with your cock outside
yeah.
while it's cold. And just leave him there. Nobody leave with a little white goatee and no one messes with him.
That is funny. My goatee. Yeah, just looking down at your son, going, "Latch, for God's sake, latch."
Looking like a tiny blackjack dealer. His gray goatee.
That tickled you.
Hit or stand. hit her, Stan.
Latch, for God's sake.
Latch.
I feel that happened to you.
We've been trying alternatives, but dick feeding's the only
Yeah,
thing what worked.
You should try the
new
dick
thing.
pumps. They're pretty good.
Hey, dick pumps are great.
Oh God, have you
I'm
sterilised
not
that?
masturbating. I'm putting it in the fridge for the baby.
Yeah, that is gross.
Right, well, what an end.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, like I said, thank you, Tamer, for
Sure.
creating that story with us. I've had a lot of fun with that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Cheers. I'm glad you guys liked it.
We ask the guests to add a line to the pot for someone else to deal with. So
Oh, okay.
if you can think of a sentence you'd like us to write down and pop in there, what would you like that to be?
He adopted a cat and then woke up to the cat humping his face.
Okay,
Right, okay.
Adopted a cat.
Can't wait for that one to go out.
I bet that's going to be another like very interesting story, like got a
Yeah.
lot of layers, and then that comes in, and then
Yeah.
Harry comes up with some filth.
Yeah, no,
and it covered the room and jizz.
Yeah, I like that one. I think you know what I mean. It's you've got to work what you got, and I thought that was the way to go. You know what I mean? Just reacting to the jizzy one, but
You know, we all make mistakes, Harry. There's
yeah.
Well, I was just going to say to the listeners and viewers and everybody who's been making this podcast happen, thank you very much for supporting. We've got plenty more episodes to come. Like
Yes.
we are 6 months deep now, and it isn't going to going away anytime soon. Keep sending in your prompts. Keep subscribing. Keep liking. Keep following. It makes a massive difference.
absolutely.
Patreon is coming out very soon. Well, it is out, but we're going to make more about it very soon.
Yeah.
Talk more about that. What we're putting on there.
And live shows coming soon.
Live shows coming soon, which we're
Nice.
going to be doing in the flesh, which is going to be nice. Anything else, Harry? What I've missed, Ben?
Do you want to plug anything?
Yeah, just I'm UK based now,
Yeah.
and I'm living in the north. So come see me.
Yeah.
My Instagram's a great place to see all my upcoming shows. I've got a link tree there, and it's Tamer Kat, TamerKat.
We'll stick
Yeah.
that in the description.
Yeah,
Sure.
I mean, I saw your comment on the Paris Hilton thing that got loads of likes.
Oh, that was great.
Very funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing that a little bit.
Yeah.
I made a little video out of it too.
Yeah, I saw that. That was very funny.
Oh, cheers! Thanks, man. Thanks a lot.
So yeah, definitely go check him out online because yeah, funny guy. You're great in the clubs as well. So
Thanks, man.
Thank
Thanks
you very
a
much
lot.
for doing
So are
it.
you. You're great.
Oh,
It's always fun
thank you.
performing with you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Right. Well, let's wrap it up. That has been All Made Up with Tamer Kattan. Thank you. See you in a bit.
Hey.
It's all